Welcome back, dear listeners, to Airwaves. And today on Airwaves, we have a remarkable guest.
Most definitely.
He is from the British Embassy here in Baghdad.
Yes.
His name is Gordon.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Gordon.
we would like you to tell us about yourself and your role here at the British Embassy.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Gordon. I have just arrived at the British Embassy in Baghdad. So I'm very new to Iraq. This is my first time in the country.
Welcome.
I'm very excited to be here.
That's awesome.
So my role is I'm in charge of communications and public affairs at the embassy. So a lot of what everything that we do at the embassy is about helping make Iraq a better place and helping Iraq to be the best it can be.
Definitely.
And so a lot of that we do privately, but lots of that we do publicly. And so all the stuff that we want Iraqis to know about and that we want to talk to Iraqis about and we want to hear from ordinary Iraqis, I oversee that. And that covers everything from our engagement with different parts of society, both in and out of Baghdad, with businesses, with NGOs, with media like you guys. So it's a really varied and exciting role.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I do.
And you've been here for 1 month. I mean, you said that before the
It's not
interview.
even been 1 month. I think it's been 4 weeks.
So how is it? Is it...
It's very hot.
Getting used to it? Hot.
Yeah,
Too
that's
hot.
the first thing when I landed. I was like, the heat hits you. Coming from London, where you think 25 degrees is sunny and the warmest it can be, and you get here.
Very
as well.
different.
Haven't experienced it.
You'll get used to it.
I will get
Don't
used to
worry.
it, I'm sure.
Yes, by
but it is
time.
cooling down now.
It
which
Right.
is
great.
perfect
right.
weather, yes. So, Gordon, can you describe the responsibilities of your position and share some recent projects you've been involved in?
So, as I say, very new, so I haven't seen any projects through to completion yet. But a lot of what we're doing is, as I say, about trying to make Iraq better and seeing how the UK can help do that.
That's awesome.
And so I think a lot of that is, identifying really cool Iraqi individuals, organizations who are doing interesting
Definitely.
things and seeing how the UK can help them. So I think the most recent one we did was actually yesterday. I'm not sure when you're putting this out, but it was on the 11th of October, which was yesterday, yes, which was International Day of the Girl Child.
Yes, true.
And so much of what the UK government is really keen to do is about empowering women, empowering girls, and educating women, educating girls, and ensuring that they have the best opportunities they have in their life. And so we work with loads of women's rights organizations in
That's
Iraq. We fund
very
lots of them.
important.
And so there was a big conference that they put on yesterday, and our ambassador and our deputy head of mission were able to meet lots of really inspiring girls with really inspiring stories. So yeah, putting that message out there, meeting them, seeing how we can improve their lives and learning from them. That's just a small project we did.
That is amazing.
Recently involved in. But there's so much more I'm excited to do. So I'm aware COP28 is coming up as well in the UAE next month. So doing lots of work around climate and improving climate awareness and seeing what we can do to tackle that really shared challenge of climate change.
Definitely.
Which affects Iraq as much as the UK.
Yes.
So that's something else we're thinking about
We're
too.
so excited to see what this will bring to our community and to
Right.
our country.
Right.
So exciting.
So, lots of our listeners are really interested in studying outside Iraq, especially when it comes to scholarships. So we've heard about your involvement with the Chevening Scholarships. So are there any upcoming opportunities that Iraqi people can apply for?
Yeah, absolutely. So Chevening Scholarships is really our flagship scholarship program. And when I was first offered this job and asked about what we actually talk about to Iraqis and what we can offer, I think Chevening Scholarships is probably the most exciting thing, or one of the most exciting things, because it's fully funded. It basically gives you funding, full funding for a 1-year master's course in any subject, any field of study at any university in the UK.
That's awesome.
And it's eligible to any Iraqi, however old you are, so long as you have a bachelor's degree already and have had 2 years of work experience. So it's really wide-ranging, and it pays for, as I say, all tuition fees. It gives you a monthly living allowance as well,
Wow.
and all your travel is paid for. So the applications are open right now. So this interview is very well timed.
That is really nice.
It's open every year as well. So if it's too soon to apply for,
So throughout the year or every year? Like
so every year. So there's an application window every year. So the current window is open till the 7th of November, which is a few weeks away. So if this is the first you've heard about it, you definitely have time to apply. But if it's too soon, you can apply next year.
Next year.
Where the opportunities will open again, or in future years after that. But yeah, it's a really exciting opportunity for any Iraqi who wants to study in the UK and use that as a springboard to bring change to Iraq and make it a better place.
Awesome.
That's amazing. So how do you perceive the significance of this scholarship for both Iraq and the UK?
Well, I think it's really significant for Iraq because we're looking for enterprising, ambitious, really forward-thinking Iraqis who, have a vision for what change they want to bring to Iraq and how they want to make it a better place. And as always, the British government wants to enable that with the tools we have. And one of those is a really vibrant, world-class education sector we have in the UK with some of the best universities and some of the best academic opportunities that the world has. I'm usually quite humble about what the UK can offer Iraq, but when it comes to universities, like university, not just people in Iraq, but lots of people around the world think it's such a great opportunity. And so it's incredible, actually. I'm really proud that the UK government can offer fully funded scholarships to enable Iraqis to do that. So yeah, I think it's really significant for Iraq because we're not prescriptive about what you want to study, whether you want to study water management or renewable energy or business or something in arts and media or something around NGOs and charity work. That's completely up to you. If you can set out a vision, if they can set out a vision for how it makes Iraq a better place, then we're really, really happy to fund it.
That is amazing.
And I think it also does loads for the UK's academic community as well. True. So I remember when I was at university in the UK, being brought up and going to secondary school and high school in the UK, where it's all just people who live in your local area. And it's it's not restrictive, but obviously it's just a very particular kind of experience, right?
Like a bubble.
Exactly. And then you go to university, you meet people not just from the rest of the country, but from around the world. And it's such an enriching experience because you can exchange ideas, you exchange contacts and build a network. And you just learn so much more aside from the very specific academic study. So I think it brings a lot to Iraqis, but also brings a lot to the UK as well.
That's amazing.
Right. Now, speaking of studying there and Chevening scholarships, as far as we know, there are many master's degree holders here in Iraq, and I would say most of them are really interested in applying to some Chevening scholarships. So are these scholarships only for undergraduate students, or can someone who has a master's degree apply to a scholarship and get his or her PhD?
So the full eligibility criteria are on the Chevening website, which is chevening.org.org. But it is specifically for a one-year master's course in the UK. So if you want to do a PhD, unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible for funding. So it's just for master's courses. And you'll need to have done a bachelor's degree already, and you'll need to have 2 years of work experience as well. But as I say, that's pretty much the only restriction. You can apply for any course, even if you have a master's already. If you can say doing an additional master's in the UK.
That's amazing. You can get 2 masters.
Yeah, you can get a second master's.
That's interesting.
Very.
Started thinking about it.
Yes.
Become even more qualified.
Yeah.
Overqualified for whatever you want to do. And also I think we should stress as well that it doesn't matter what sort of previous field of study you've done or what your work experience is. This is a really good opportunity if you want to pivot and slightly change direction with your career too. So you might have studied, medicine or became a doctor as your profession, but now you want to pivot into healthcare technology or into something different like green technology, something completely different. But if you can use that experience and use the skills you've picked up and apply them in a different way, and you think this master's would be a good way of doing that, then that's also really cool. And we've really
That's amazing.
That's interesting, actually.
Very, very interesting. You might want to think about it, Ibrahim.
Started, thinking about it.
So, Mr. Gordon, do applicants need to take international English exams to get accepted?
Yeah, like IELTS.
Yeah.
TOEFL.
So, Chevening specifically doesn't require an English language requirement. I think it used to. But now, in order to apply, you don't need to have got a specific score. But I think you'll find for almost every master's course in the UK, they will have an IELTS language requirement. So if you are interested in applying, I think you'll just need a good standard of English, because it's obviously a master's course taught in the UK, taught to high standards.
So it's recommended.
So it's recommended. So I think check the specific course that you're applying for and see what their requirements are. They probably will have a specific IELTS requirement. So it's that requirement you should be looking out for. But Chevening itself doesn't require anything.
Interesting.
That's
Very
actually
nice.
like really, really interesting. And now what about one last thing? Okay. What advice would you give to those who are thinking about applying for a Chevening scholarship?
Oh, so much.
I know,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
So many wisdom.
Well, I haven't done it myself. So but the first piece of advice is if you can find someone who's successfully done a Chevening scholarship or achieved one, or even someone who's studied in the UK, just speaking to them and understanding their experience.
Having a
and what they've learned.
mentor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not even a mentor specifically, just someone who can talk to you about it rather than just looking online. That's really helpful. But I recognize that's not something everyone can do. So the advice I'd give everyone is like really try and be original and authentic as possible. This is a scholarship program which is about trying to make Iraq better. It's not just any overseas study program.
Right.
But we're really looking for people who have a vision for using their scholarship as a springboard, as a way of them bringing change back to their home country. So if you have a really specific vision and set of ideas for how to do that, and how the scholarship and how studying in the UK will help you do that, just make that as clear as possible in your application. Because that, over and above the fact that you just want to study in the UK, is what's going to set you apart, I think, from other candidates.
It's going to make you stand out and make you seem unique.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the overarching piece of advice I'd give. And the other advice I give is actually just to not rule yourself out of applying. So lots of people apply, and it is a competitive program, and I've no shame in saying that, because that suggests it's a great program, which it is. But don't let that intimidate you, because oftentimes the people who don't back themselves the most, but actually have really interesting and compelling ideas, are actually the ones who are most likely to get the scholarship.
True.
So just be confident. And I'd say if there's nothing to lose from applying,
Nice.
so just give it a go. And see
So
what
you have
happens.
the basic standards, and applicants should be creative, original, authentic, and confident when it comes to applying.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is.
Okay.
Very much so. And then one last thing. This is a tradition that we do here on Airwaves.
Almost forgot. No, almost forgot. Thank
It's
you.
very easy. So
Yeah.
we ask you to request a song by your favorite artist, or even just your favorite song in general.
So we can play it after
Yes.
the interview.
Oh, that's really hard.
I know, right?
That's the hardest question.
I mean, it's very tempting for me to say like Arab artist, but I feel like I'll get judged so much by what I say, so I might have to stick to an English one. So it's really hard. My favorite song depends on mood. It's a bit of a cop out.
So what are you feeling
So
today?
I think, I'll say my guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like it must be something by ABBA.
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 Like if you go to any cultural
Nice.
occasion in the UK,
Yes, it's
like
ABBA.
everyone's like quite highbrow and like all very formal, but then ABBA always comes out at about 11 p.m.
Very
So,
popular
I
here,
love
I would
ABBA.
say.
I mean, I don't mind what ABBA song you play because they're all great.
You got it. Definitely.
I mean, Dancing Queen's pretty good, isn't
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, if that isn't a crowd pleaser for your radio station, if that doesn't get billions of listeners,
It's
coming
one of
in,
our favorites. DJ K always plays it. So
There you go. Exactly.
can do it for us.
Give the
Yes.
people what they want. So.
yes,
Well, Gordon, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. It's been amazing.
it has. Yes,
No, thank you
very
for having me.
informative.
It's been great to speak to you.
Thank
and I'm going
you.
to come back soon.
Thank you. Yes, definitely.